Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I had this video done weeks ago, but because of Pokemon Go related stuff and other stuff, I never got to post it because I was so busy responding to stuff and handling my business. But I listened to it, and it was at a time when I was more um, vulgar. I'm trying to be a nice little boy right now, so I'm trying to, not stir the pot. But I do got to talk about this one. So this story has nothing to do with anything I've been talking about for the last 10 videos. So, if you came here for those type of videos, it's not like that. But I wish you would stay and listen because this video or this rant, this podcast, everybody's calling it, is just me explaining a situation that, like I've said in all my videos, I don't make up stories. For years, people have been telling me, Rob, you could write books with the amount of stories I have. And my mom always gets mad at me and says, how do you remember all this stuff, man? I don't know. There's like a certain part of my brain that just puts these stories in there and keeps them. So we're going to get into this story. This story goes back, God, how old's my daughter now? 13? Goes back 13 years, 12, 13 years. Okay. Well, even before that. So years ago, if you were a Toronto cat, like if you were from the GTA, the Six, before Dre Cat was calling it the Six, you knew of a website called T.WIRE. I mean, if you're on your Googles right now, type up T.WIRE, TdotWire. If you a Toronto cat right now, you're like, oh my God, he's a Toronto cat. T.WIRE was it for meeting females and females meeting men. Or if you like that, men meeting men and women meeting women. I swear to God, and it was free, and I met so many people on there. It was mostly chicks, but I met a lot of women on there. A lot of them I still know to this day. Which is T.WIRE was it, bro. I know now if you look it up, it's like a music thing, but it was, if you ever look, like sometimes you might be on like Instagram or something or TikTok and someone might put up a thing like a Toronto person would be like, yo, y'all remember T.WIRE? T.WIRE was it. And I mean, I'm going back to the days like MSN, MySpace, all that stuff. So I'm old. But T.WIRE was it, man. In my early 20s, man, dude, that was the place. I can't stress it enough, man. I wish I owned that, man. That thing is that thing is it's has a place in the history of Toronto, right? Out here, I don't know if you ever been to Canada or whatever, if anyone here is from Canada, they have those commercials where it's like Canadian history and they'll have like a little, oh my God, not a play, but like a little scene where people are acting like when they first had maple syrup or some crap like that. They should have that for T.WIRE. Like, seriously, that was the spot. Anyways, I ranted on that because I just remember, and it brings a smile to my face, like the joy I had on that site. Anywho, so let's get into the meat and potatoes now. And I love meat and potatoes. All right. So back then, I had met a whole bunch of a variety of females, right? One of them was a female, and honestly, I did not know her real name for years because we just called her by, you guess you call it a pet name, her little code name, her street name, because she was a Scarborough chick. And if you know Scarborough, you know Scarborough. So her name was Bruja, right? And if you know what a Bruja is, it's a witch. She played the part very well. She wore the dark makeup. She even had like, that mole thing or that wart thing or whatever the hell it is, that white thing that oh my gosh, the witches would have. She had it on their nose, and it was funny. I don't know if she has it now, but anywho, so me and her, we never hooked up. Nothing sexual, nothing. We're just friends. And when you're friends with people, especially when you're in your younger years, like, 20s, whatever, you start, people go different paths. Like, you remember you're in school And you had friends like, when you're in like kindergarten and they grow up and they start, drinking or doing whatever, that was how it was, right? In your 20s, people are really, they don't know exactly what they're doing yet. They might be having kids, they might be getting married, um, they might be doing bad stuff. Like, it's a lot of things, right? So me and her were close, like really close. And I think we only hung out one time. That was actually when she had a kid, right? But before that, we were like just, friends that would talk on the phone. And back then, three-way calls were a thing. MSN was a thing. And, like, those were the days, man. Free after 6 calling, free after 9 calling with some people. And it was like that. So she had met a dude and they were together for a long time and they had 2 kids. They had a son and they had a daughter. And then she was done with that guy. I don't know why they broke up. Apparently he treated her bad or something like that. And she hooks up with this dude from Trinidad. Okay. Now, if you know about West Indian men, they're very protective of their women. And it's like, I mean, a lot of men are like that, but Trinidadian men are they're like Guyanese men. They're very protective. I mean, that's my opinion. That's what I see, right? Because I'm West Indian. You see them all the time, right? I used to go to clubs with them. So you'd see how they move, right? So I had my first kid at this point, and she was born as a premature baby. She was born at 29 weeks, and she was at the hospital, in an incubator, had jaundice at the beginning. Like, that went away right away. Like, it was like a day. But, they had them in the incubator, and she couldn't eat on her own, so they had the tubes. There was a lot of stuff, right? So every day, me and the mother would always be at Sick Kids, right? So one day, Bruja came, and, we were talking, we were hanging out, and, her husband then starts to send me messages on on Facebook, right? Because Facebook was around at this time. And he would send me all these, you know, really bad messages, like just like threatening to, to kill me and all this stuff just going on. And at this time, I'd fight anybody. I was young, I didn't care. But the thing was, I didn't want to fight this dude because, there was no point to it because what he was accusing me of wasn't true. And then he was very insecure about his woman, and I was the wrong person to assume that because I'm the wrong person to blame that on because me and her didn't have anything like that. So his assumptions that, oh, she was cheating or whatever had nothing to do with me. Like, you better do that conversation with the other guys, not me. But, he would, and as you know how people were, if you're an old fogey like me, they would have these multiple accounts. Now you have alts everywhere, but like you'd have people with like 3 different Facebooks. And when I would block him on one, he went on another one. Kept harassing me. I'd block him again. Then he would do another one. And I think he was just like making them as he goes. So I would have these 3 o'clock in the morning. And right now I'm going through a lot. Daughter's premature. Like, she's not going to not live, but you want her home, right? You don't want to be at the hospital every day. You don't want her always there because we didn't spend the night. You couldn't where she was at Sick Kid. So we'd have to go home, go back the next morning and blah, blah, blah. So he sent me all these messages just threatening me and whatever. And I got mad and I responded. And I said something to him where it was like, if your kid was stuck in a burning house or something like that, you'd be such a sissy, you wouldn't go and save him. Something like that, I said. It wasn't bad. I mean, now when I look back, I was a younger dude. That's really stupid what I said. But, so he runs and tells her, oh, Rob said this about, I don't remember the kid's name. And she lost it. Furious. Doesn't take in consideration that dude's been harassing me, and she's like telling me like, I'll deal with him. You know, if you had just let me deal with him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yo, this has been going on for weeks. Like, why are we, like, you weren't dealing with it, bro. Like, how many times am I going to get harassing, you know, like he was even calling me. Like, you know how people were, they'd call you and just hang up the phone? Like, okay, like not everybody had cell phones. Like we all had cell phones, but we didn't not have house lines. Like, you know, now nobody has house lines. We all had house lines then. And, you know, you can't star 69 a private number. And it was a whole bunch of things. But it was like, dude, I shouldn't have said what I said, obviously. But, you know, with what I was going on with, I guess I have some of excuse. Plus, handle your man. You'll handle your man. Like, dude needs to leave me alone. Anywho, so me and her didn't talk for years. So I tried to make peace. She wasn't having it because I crossed the line bringing up her son. Okay, cool. Now, fast forward 10 years. 10 years? 6 months ago. So my daughter's 12, going to be 13 now, right? So fast forward 13 years, 12, let's say 12 years, okay? Fast forward 12 years. Now, I'm a older man now. She's an older woman, and I guess she felt that she made a bad choice, and she messaged me on Instagram, and I was like, who is this? Because she was going by her real name now, and I was like, oh shit, okay. So she's like, oh hey, how you been, stranger? It's been so long, blah blah blah. So the conversation didn't start off as anything yet because she didn't feel comfortable enough to talk to me about anything. So she messaged me, we had a couple words, and then that was the end of it. Now, one of the things I learned about people when it comes to stuff like that is that they assume that after you haven't talked for so many years that you're just gonna jump and tell them everything. Like I was busy. I'm busy as a person. You know, I got kids. I have YouTube that I'm always doing videos on. I got life stuff I'm doing. You know, I'm doing a lot of things, right? So I couldn't really respond properly, and I didn't even know what to say, right? So she doesn't talk to me for like a couple weeks. Then she comes back and she's like, "Oh, you know what? I talked to God, and He said for me to talk to you and to let it all out because I really wanted to talk to you." So she starts telling me her life story now. So I don't want to get into like serious, like I don't really want to get into some of the bad stuff. But a lot of the things that she was telling me, because I think YouTube would probably like strike me down if I if I do it. But let's take it like this. She lost contact with the first two kids, and then the third one, the father, the same one that was arguing with me, the father took that kid and went to Trinidad. So she went through a depressive state, right? Which means she started doing, you know, she worked in a bar and she started doing the hard stuff and was drinking excessively. And then she was, you know, not able to pay her bills. So she started to give up something for some money. You know what I'm saying? It got to the point where she was always messed up. This is what she's telling me. I didn't see this. So I'm just going by what she said to me. And that she had been raped, right? And stuff like that. And she got pregnant, and from that one, and gave the kid up for adoption. And then now she met another dude and had another kid. So she's batting really low when it comes to kids right now. Like, I'm not saying it to be funny. It's just like, because what happens after you start to, like, you feel bad, because I feel terrible. Because I sit to where I'm like, oh my God, bro. You know, I wish you were talking to me then, because I would have done anything I could to have helped her get out of the situation. I know what people are going to say. You can't help people that want to be helped, but I would have tried because she was a friend, right? And I do care about people, in case people don't think that. Like, oh, Rob, you don't care. I care about people. Now, okay, so she then found God. Great. She's a big time Christian now. And I was like, okay, that's cool, but I'm not, right? I was, but I've always had questions about Christianity, right? And I'm not, I do pray and I do all that stuff. And I do go to church, but I'm not overtaken like how she was, right? And how some people are, where they just take it like, it's more like the way how they act with it's like an obsession. Like it's like you take one crazy thing that you were doing, one obsession you had before, and then that's your new obsession. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you understand what I mean, but what I mean is, it's like you have, oh my God, what's the word here? Not obsession. Oh my gosh. So it's like you go from one addiction to another one, right? And that's why we look at it sometimes. I'm not saying any of that stuff is bad. Well, Christianity is not bad, is what I mean. The other stuff, that's your choice. But sometimes I feel people will go into the Christianity route and they'll use it as like an scapegoat to do stupid things at the same time and then be like, oh, well, God will protect me or whatever, right? And it was one of those things where it's like you were obsessed before with something else, and now you're using church as your new obsession to fill that void, right? Okay, so the issue wasn't with her being a Christian. It had nothing to do with that. What happened was she started to try to force me to get into Christianity again. And I was like, I never left Christianity. I'm a part of it, but I'm not blindly following something without knowing the truth about stuff and asking the right questions. I'm not just going to be like every minute, hey, and then don't ask questions, right? I mean, I've talked to many pastors, you know, Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witnesses, um, God, priests, like, you know, Sabbaths and all those people, right? And not Sabbaths, what the hell are they called again? I can't remember what they're called. But um, it was a lot that I've talked to, and and they've never answered my questions that I asked, right? So, and if they did, they were never proper answers. They were just nonsense to me. Like, it was like uneducated answers. That's really what it is. Not saying they're stupid or anything like that. And yes, they are educated. It's just, it was uneducated to me. It didn't make sense, right? And no matter how they tried to twist and turn it around, I just was like, no, this doesn't make any sense. So, I still do the church thing and whatever. But the thing was, she started asking me questions like, what church do you go to and this? And it's like, my kids are Catholic. I'm Pentecostal, right? But my kids go to both churches. They're Catholic because of their mother, and they go to the Catholic school, but they still go to the Pentecostal church with me. For events, we go and whatever. So my kids go to youth group, right? So one day she was talking to me and she's like, how are the kids? Oh, they're at youth group. Why aren't you there? Because I'm not a youth. Well, why are you letting your kids go when you're not there? Because I'm not a kid. It's a youth group. I went to youth groups as a kid myself, but I am an adult now. Why am I going to youth groups? And then she started like blasting me for not being Christian enough. And I'm like, okay. So we didn't talk for a couple months. And then one day, a couple weeks ago, she messages me and she's like, oh, you know, I was very upset with what you said to me. I'm like, what did I say? Because, like, I'm the type of person where after the incident's over, I don't really remember the next morning. Once I go to bed, I tend to forget because it's annoying. Why remember these things? But anyways, until you bring it up again, then it'll pop in my head. But me remembering, like, I want to wake up and I don't wake up and go, yeah, yesterday I was mad. No, I move on. So, she starts with this whole Christianity thing and telling me how, oh, you know, God will smite you and whatever crap like that. And I'm like, for what? Like, what is the issue here? And she's like, you know, it shows what kind of person you are that you send your kids to church and you don't go. So I respond, you know, and I'm like, look, man, you just found Christ. I've known him for years. While you were out there being Bruja, the witch, you didn't care about church, and if I told you to become a Christian, you would have told me to screw off. So all of a sudden now, your life goes to crap, and then you find God. right? It's like, okay, that's great, but don't try to force it down my throat. Like, what the hell? Then she starts sending me Bible verses and this and that. And I was like, dude, like, I'm literally doing something right now and you're bugging me. And then she's like, this going on. And then she starts bringing up my children over and over and over again. And I'm like, what is with people now and bringing up children? I don't bring up nobody's kids, bro. I could see you treating your kid like crap outside and I don't get involved because it's not my business. I'm not getting involved in people's stuff. Like, there's no point because it's not my business, bro. And that's the thing that I don't understand with people. Like let people live. We don't know what's going on at home. Some a parent could be stressed, whatever. Moving on. So she's there telling me how much of a bad person I am and whatever, and how my kid's this, my kid's that. And I'm like, yo, calm down, man, because now you're now bringing up my children. But when I brought up yours in a situation that shouldn't have happened in the first place, now it's okay for you to do it. She goes, no, it's not the same thing, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, like, whatever. So then it got to the point where, she's sending me these long paragraphs. And then I'm like, yo, I'm not reading this, man. Like, why are you sending me these? What, you're the paragraph guy on Instagram? Like, stop. I don't want to read this, man. And she's sending me all these Bible verses and how when she goes to heaven and she's at the gates of heaven and God asks her, what did you say to Rob or something? She'll tell him straight to his face what she said. And she's telling me that she's one of God's children and she walks with God and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bruh, like, can I eat my sandwich? Like, I think I was eating a sandwich at the time. And I was like, dude, why are we even having this conversation? Here's the thing. We started talking. We haven't even hung out or anything. Like, it's not like we went out to have coffee and whatever. So you know what I said now, being the ding dong that I was, or that I am? I was like, you want to go to church? Like, I'll literally go to church with you. Make you feel better. And she still carried on. And I was like, oh, God. So anywho, she's like, you know what? I can't be your friend. I'm like, okay. She goes, I need someone around me that walks with Jesus. So then I'm thinking, did this girl want to like hook up or something? Like, why does it matter if I walk with Jesus, bro? Like, we're supposed, like, I don't get it, right? We're supposed to get married or something? Like, bro, go away. Then here's the part that's really funny. She starts bringing up Pokemon. She goes, look at you Pokemon demon worshiper. And you're going down the demon's path, playing with Pokemon and whatever. And I'm looking at this shit and I'm like, bro, I remember when Pokemon came out and it was like all over, media, and all those churches were hating on Pokemon. And I swear to God, a lot of these, like, Pokemon lasted longer than a lot of those churches back then. And it's the funniest thing because if you think that Pokemon is demonic, have you played Doom? Like, have you played any game like that? Like, what was that one? Dante's Inferno. Have you played those games? You want to talk about, like, demonic? That's demonic. What's Pokemon? You just throw balls at a Pokemon and catch it and you fight with it. It's like, I don't know what's so like, yo, there's some demonic games out there, man. And you're mad at me for that? I'm like, yo, whatever, bro. Like, oh, you demonic Pokemon. And I was like, bruh. All right, cool. Like, whatever. Anyways, she then tells me to block her. I'm like, why don't you block me? And she's like, oh, because, I want you to do it and blah, blah, blah. So I didn't block her. And the next day, once again, flooding me with messages. And I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother. So I tried to make peace. She wasn't having it. So I was like, well, it was nice knowing you. Take care and God bless you, since you are so big on the church thing. And that was it. I blocked her and we haven't talked since. And I don't care to. And this is what I mean. Like, I'm a grown man, and I don't see the point in talking to people that are just ridiculously obsessive and very pushy. It's like, dude, stop. Anywho, that was my story on, I guess, what would you call this? A story on Bruja. This is not what you're used to, but hey, story time is story time, right? Anyways, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.